From Sigma Woman, this is the Business for Aligned Women podcast. I'm your host, Clara McKay, your aligned business coach and advocate for all things showing up for your vision. This is a no BS space for brave-hearted women who are actually craving change. I'm dedicated to bringing women's visions into reality, equipping women with all they need to build an abundant future, and shutting down all of the ways that you keep yourself small. Here, we're all about a women-centered approach, non-negotiable value alignment, and making bank without compromising your well-being. Each week, you're already one step closer to your most aligned and abundant future. Welcome to this week's episode. Before we get into it today, I want to invite you to jump into my consistency class. It's a gentle consistency class. It's 20 minutes. You can listen to it as audio only. And I have just been getting so much feedback from how many big light bulb moments people have had and just how actionable the advice is in that class. So you can grab it right now and watch it, or just listen to it like you would this podcast straight away today via the show notes. I want to remind you that you can always book in a 20-minute free, no obligation call with me to chat about how I can help you. Those are available for you to book via the link in the show notes as well. I want to remind you that the Gentle Business Program for 2024 is now booking and filling very fast. This is a 6-month one-to-one program with group calls that supplement our one-to-one sessions each month. And it's for anyone who's looking to grow and professionalize their business without burning out. Today, we're talking about a topic that I should probably do a series on because I have a lot to say about it, but I do want to keep today short and sharp because you tell me how much you love that. And if you want me to talk more about this, send me a message, send me a DM, and we'll see what we can do. But I want to talk about actually honoring your feminine energy in business. There's a lot online about this. There's a lot of people selling programs about this. There's a lot of people kind of shouting about it from the rooftops. Honestly, don't know that those programs translate to people making money or translate to people growing their communities. I haven't seen any evidence of that. And with this being such a common conversation online, I want to talk about some of the fallacies that I hear about this. And the big one is go with the flow, prioritize your creativity, prioritize your emotions in business. To me, that just screams emotional enmeshment, and it's going to create an environment in which you're thinking about your business 24/7 and you're never actually resting and you're never completely turned off, which to me is what burnout comes from. I also see people being very specific around what feminine energy is, and it tends to be all of the things that are keeping us small. So being hyper emotional, hyper sincere, everything needing to be so deep and mean so much, and you're gutting yourself in every piece of content, even though, it's a 12-hour story. And if it's not deep and like incredibly resonant and going to make you cry, then it's not worth putting out there. That's just not a way to run a business. If you want to have an art practice, maybe that's how you do it, but that's not how we run a business where we're looking at 5 years ahead, 10 years ahead, 20 years ahead. Okay. It's not how we run a business that we want to consistently be hitting multiple 6 figures every year, because you just can't take care of yourself and show up at the same time as doing that. So thinking that this feminine energy is this kind of feminine energy, this really specific nice girl vibes, is what you need to be doing in your business. You need to be really flexible, you need to be really available, and you need to be open, you need to have no boundaries, and you need to be able to give away a lot of free information or free advice, and be accessible to everyone. These are all these feminine energy qualities that we're talking about. And just so we're clear, that's not what I think feminine energy is, but that's what social media is pushing. I'm not going to go into it because I would talk for too long, but I do want to ask yourself, I really want you to ask yourself why that might be. And I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist because I don't think it's about conspiracies. I think it's about the gendered structure of our cultures. There might be reasons why it would be good for you to be meek and shush up. Okay. There might be reasons for you to waste all of your energy on being very, very emotional rather than strategic. And at the end of the day, that might keep you small and quiet and not making a fuss. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. You know where I'm going with that. So bring this kind of fake feminine, I'm going to call it fake feminine energy into, and I'm calling it fake because women have babies. We're not meek. We're not made to be meek. That's a cultural thing. Okay. Women are powerful, and denying that to fit in is not good. This is not serving you because of many, many reasons, namely staying small, not speaking up, not speaking a truth, always feeling like your opinion isn't worth saying out loud, etc., which I see all the time in my business. Never having boundaries or standing up for your time, even though you've got these really beautiful projects and goals that your heart desperately wants you to do. But yeah, of course I'll look after the kids. Of course I'll, clean up after you, whatever it is, when really what you want to be doing is focusing on your business that you've been trying to get going for years. But some of the other ways that this isn't serving you is it will produce a lack of consistency. It will also produce, and I see this every single day, a lack of cohesion. And what I mean by that is this is so classic. People who are in this, their Instagram handle will be one thing, their TikTok handle will be another thing, their website will be another thing. And how is anyone meant to find you if everything's not cohesive? And all of these things translate into you looking unprofessional, unreliable, and untrustworthy. What do I need in order to give you my money? Those things at a minimum. I need to trust that you're not a scam at a minimum. And people don't realize that when everything is so messy, people can wonder if you're a scam. I've had clients who've come to me and we've had to have a really touchy conversation about their website because it was so messy that most people would look on it and think that it was a scam immediately and not ever trust putting their credit card details into it. We have to think about these things. It's not just your creative vibe. It's not just what works for you. It's, am I creating a scenario in which people feel okay to give me money? Is the baseline. The reality is money and business requires structure, systems, and a lot of looking at your finances. Money is an energy, I believe, not to sound too woo-woo, it needs to know where it's going. A river needs to have a path made out for it. And if none of these structures or systems are there, I don't think you're calling it in. I don't think you're inviting it in. You haven't given it the space to come in. And you need to either be in or be balanced with your masculine energy in order to set those things up. Now, I'm not saying you have to become masculine, but I'm saying you have to get okay with that energy. If you want to run a business, you have to be okay with that energy. The goal isn't to be one or the other. The goal is to be both and be adaptable and able to move into one or the other according to what's going on. Like, for instance, if I have a client and they're like, I just got fired from my job, I need to start making money, I've only got one session left with you, let's smash as much stuff as we can out of this session, I'm going to be in my masculine. If I've got a client who gets on a call and they're really upset and something really, really big is going on in their life, I'm going to be a completely different energy. And I can do that. I can swap through. It's not going to affect me. It's not going to drain me. It's completely natural. But if I was in one or the other, I wouldn't be able to serve both of those people. Okay. Bring too much emotionality. I know I said it before, but it's worth saying it again. And there will be a couple of episodes coming up specifically around this. Making your business emotional will burn you out. It won't do anything else. Right now, I'm reading Stephen King's memoir. Amazing book. If you like writing, if you like reading, you should read it. But he's one of the most prolific and successful writers and most film adaptations from book of anyone in human history. And yet he's talking about how he had wads and wads and wads of inches thick rejections. Now, I'm not calling anyone out here, but I know a lot of you quiver and shake and give up at the first sign of negative feedback. That won't work. And rejection is part of this process, okay? But if you're coming into your business so wrought, so dysregulated, so reactive, you're going to crumble at the first sign of things not being perfect. And I do see that all the time. And this is where bringing a buffet of emotions into your daily business life is a sabotage. And if you can only show up in a certain way in your business if you're in a certain mood, that's not going to work either. I'm going to say something that a lot of people, it's probably going to set off a little red flag light bulb moment. Hyper-emotionality in content may produce virality, okay? It might do. It may get you more followers. It won't create more sales. And I'm going to let that sink in because I know a lot of you have experienced that as well with controversy. If you create a really controversial piece of content that triggers people, you might go viral, you might get lots of engagement, you might get lots of followers. That won't translate to sales because sales require trust, structure, and confidence. If I'm having to follow you up in order to pay you, I'm gone. If your website looks like a scam, I'm not going to give you my credit card details. If you're unclear with what I'm getting, or if you don't even seem confidence in your own offer, that sale is lost. This is why finding a way to balance masculine and feminine is needed. And the simplest thing that I talk about in more depth in the consistency class is allowing your business to have that masculine structure that you can actually switch off and turn off when you're not working. And when you're not working, not be thinking about your business, but be deeply in that rested, nourished, replenished feminine energy. If you can't tell, which is how getting to share this time with you is something that I find truly sacred. I know that you're busy, but if you've taken anything away from our time spent together today, could you extend the love and share this episode with a friend, your community, or on your socials? Tag me so that I can see it and I can share it too. Or when you have a spare moment, leave the podcast for review. These things cost you nothing and will mean so much to me. Let's get this resource into the hands of more women visionaries and help us collectively move towards our most aligned way of being and doing business together.